to have a cup of coffee with a chap last night, and he runs a takeaway curry place, and there's a queue of people waiting for their takeaways. So he says to me, talk to this chap, you'd like him, you'll get on. So I start to talk to this chap. Transpires, he's ex-Edinburgh Council. He blew the whistle on the free gift of a £500 million property by Edinburgh Council and the people of Edinburgh, only they didn't know it, to the Faculty of Advocates. So having blown the whistle, he got a payoff and his post ceased to exist. But before that happened, he was on a list. I didn't know that this list exists. He was on a list called the Risk Register. And the Risk Register was held by the Chief Executive of Edinburgh Council. And it was a list of people who were deemed to be a risk to the reputation of Edinburgh Council. Now, I would like to think that any FOI request to get a copy of that list would not be successful. I'm sure we'd be told it doesn't exist. But at least in his time, it most certainly did. It even got to the stage that people high up in Edinburgh Council had it as a badge of honour to be on the list. Said something about it. So, this is what happens if you are decent and you're honest and you're upstanding and you do the right thing and you work for the state. First you go on the list, then your job disappears, and then you take the payout and shut up, or other things happen. So, that's what we're fighting. It's Soviet. It uses mental health to target people. It uses the police to target people. It uses the fact that the law can be adjusted through statute to target people. And it's not our friend. And to fight it, we are told that we are conspiracy theorists. To fight it, we are told that we are, or insert name of insult. But all we're really saying is, look at what happened there. That's not right. We know in our hearts that that's not right, because you know injustice when you see it. And then the system says, no, you have to go away, you have to be quiet now. You're not going to get justice, you have to be happy with that. Well, we're not. So what today is about is hearing some more testimony, hearing some more ideas, and I want at the end of it that we can have a little chat about where we go next. I want to walk away with 2 or 3 really crystallised ideas for the next steps we make, and then we'll go and do those, and then we'll meet up again and we'll discuss how it went and how to move forward. So thanks so much for listening to that ramble. And I'd like to invite our first speaker up if she can. It's a very brave lady of Jayne Taylor.
Good morning, everyone. As most of you know, my name is Alexander Smith, or Sandy. Standing beside me this morning is a girl I met when I was 5 years of age in William Quarries Orphan Homes in Bridgevere. Jayne and I became very, very good friends, later boyfriend, girlfriend. At the age of 14, Jayne was taken back home to stay. Today, this is Jayne's chance to tell you her story. Before I go any further, I'd first like to read a poem. This was written by Jayne during her time in Quarries. She entitled it, So Many Fears. Oh, just a little girl, so scared and small. No one to turn to, no one at all. No one to hold me and dry away my tears. No one to hug me and ease my fears. No one to tell me I will be all right. No one to hear my cries in the night. All alone in this big dark place, feeling my tears as they run down my face. Hoping and praying it's all just a dream, but I open my eyes and see a face I've never seen. I'm scared and I'm lonely and feeling so sad. Yes, I'm a child. Yes, I'm in a children's orphanage, as I have no mum or no dad. So is there anyone who can see me or hear me? Is there no one who loves me or even cares? As no one sees me as I say my prayers? Is there no one there is there no one there? Can anyone hear? For I am just a young girl with so many fears. Left all alone in an orphanage so far from home, under a new mum's care. Yes, I am a child with so many fears. That was written by Jane at 10 years of age. When I was 17, I went back to Corriers. I wanted to find Jane. Jane was going to be my wife, but Corriers wouldn't give me any information on Jane. Jane moved on with her life, I moved on with my own. 48 years later, by chance, through a site I went on to, named Corriers Children of the Past, I met many my brothers and sisters from Corriers. One name that stood out was that of Jane's. 48 years later, we're back together. So ladies and gentlemen, today, this is Stephen told for the first time.
Thank you. Well, you all know my name is Jayne Taylor, and I am a survivor of historical child abuse. At the age of 3, I was taken 100 miles from my home in Dundee to William Corrier's orphanage in Bridgeford. I was too young to remember much of that time. About the age of 5, I was taken into a cottage 20, and I was one of the lucky children. I had a brilliant cottage mother. She's even godmother to one of my children. And we didn't have a cottage father because she was a single lady, so we had a cottage auntie. And I even had Sandy's mum as a cottage aunt at one time. But they weren't all nice. We had this one cottage aunt. Well, there was a few of them, but this one, I can't remember her name, but she was just pure evil. She would make the food and put the food down to you. And if you didn't eat what was on your plate, it was served to you again at dinner time. And if you didn't eat it then, it was served to you at breakfast time. And if you didn't eat it then, she called on 2 of the other girls to take 1 arm each. And they had to hold you outstretched while she pinched your nose. You couldn't breathe. You were gagging. You were trying to be sick. And she would force all that into your mouth. It was horrendous. And even to this day, I'm faddy about food. I could live on ice lollies and ice cream, as Christine could tell you. I'm chocolate. That could be my diet. No problem at all. And I used to love PE. I used to love it. But we had this PE teacher, and we were all girls. And of course, a man. He made us take PE in our blouse and knickers. His party trick was taking his keys and dropping them down off the back of your blouse, pushing his hand down so he could have a fumble. Now we were 7-year-old. What do you do? But the worst was still to come. Because at the end of the gym class, he'd pick a girl of his choice, ask them to help put away the equipment, and he would take you into the cupboard where the equipment went, and I will leave that for you to judge the kind of thing that happened then. Sorry, I need to look at this a bit because I'm kind of losing my track.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. During my time in Quarriers, I wrote to my dad. I wasn't an orphan, I actually had a father. I wrote to my dad many, many times. Like, he never replied. He never wrote back. I'm going to cry now, I'm so sorry. I never knew my mother. To this day, I don't know my mother. She could walk past me in the street if she's still alive. I don't even know my mother. Quarriers would give me my notes so I can check up on my mother. I know nothing. At the age of 14, I've skipped on, but at the age of 14, I always thought Quarriers was a charity. But seemingly you had to pay for your child to get in there. I'll go back a wee bit because I've jumped too far ahead. My father had been paying money for our keeping Quarriers. Allowed to know this. The people who were your family were the children that were in your cottage. That was your brothers, that was your sisters, that was your mum. Some houses had a father. That was it. You didn't talk to anybody else. You were separated. So as I said, my father got into debt. So, I'm losing this here, I'm sorry. Arrangements were going on in the back to take us back home. Oh, this is so bad, I'm so sorry. This is just so... I thought all my horror was gone. That was it. I was leaving Quarriers. I had never even seen this man. They used to have a visiting Saturday once a month, and that was for parents and guardians to come and see your children. I would sit at the window in the cottage. I was often referred to like Alice in Wonderland, looking through the looking glass. I would sit looking, watching, maybe that's my dad, maybe that's my dad. Every guy I seen, but it wasn't. I would go to my room and I would cry myself to sleep. I never saw or knew this man, and yet here I was, getting dumped on him. I remember getting taken out to his house. He had a new family. When I was 7, he'd remarried and started a new family. He only wanted us to qualify for this bigger house. Quarriers helped him get this bigger house. So it was a case of, when I went out, he took everything. Everything I had. My savings account that Quarriers encouraged us to do, the clothes, the memories, the toys, my diaries, everything. He stripped us of everything. But the worst was to come. He was going to strip us of our dignity. I had to get a job. Remember, I'm 14. I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning to work in a cold, damp potato factory where I had to pack potatoes for an hour and a half. Then I had to come home, get my brother and sister up, feed them and get them off to school. The only meal we got was the school dinner. After school, I had to go and work in the local supermarket. Well, it wasn't really a supermarket, it was a shop. And I had to work there from 4:30 till 6 o'clock. And if it wasn't for the people in that supermarket, we would have starved to death. They gave me bread, potatoes, or whatever was left. because we were not allowed to sit at the dining table with my family, well, my parents and their family. I had to sit out in the hall with my brother and sister with a wee box, and I used to make some chips. And we had, I don't know if any of you remember this pink meat it's called. Not spam, it's like pink lint was a nickname for it. Pork luncheon meat, maybe you would know by that name. Yeah. So if I managed to get a couple of slices of that, I was happy. So we'd have the bread, and we'd get the meat, and we'd put it on, and we would put our chips out, and we'd call that lining out our coffins. That's how we made it look like I had a lot of chips. We would count them, and that's how we were treated. But my sister, she's special. I escaped with her the first time. We ran, I don't know how far we ran. Believe it or not, we were trying to come back to Korea. It was the only place we could go that wasn't worse than where we were. But every time we escaped, the police brought us back. And of course, my so-called father was the nicest man on the planet. How could we run away from him? And each time in the police came, we were battered. My father threw me across the room and broke bones in my body I didn't even know I had. We would go up to bed. It wasn't a bed. It was a board on the floor, and we had duffel coats as blankets. Well, him and his family had the beds and the clothes. My way out of this, it sounds terrible. The family next door came to our rescue many a time. They were absolutely brilliant. And the oldest son of that family, he was 10 years older than me, but he asked me to marry him when I was just 17, well, I was 16 at the time, I was still at school. And I said, yeah. I thought, great, I can get a flat of my own. I didn't think what marriage was, really. Nobody told me. So I got married. My poor sister, she couldn't cope in the house without me. She would go out into the woods to sleep. She would eat whatever she could find until I took her in to where I was staying with my husband. My husband and I, we went on to have 4 beautiful children. The age difference started to show when I was in my late 20s, because I wanted to have a career and he wanted to stay at home wife. And there was no way on this planet I was going to ever be dependent on anybody or anything. What I have is what I made for myself. He couldn't understand this. So we tried a separation, see how we would go on. Let the children come back and forth to each of us, and it worked. It actually worked. We're still friends. He knew quite a lot of what happened to me. He didn't know the section piece. Nobody knew it except Sandy. I never told anybody. We went down to Corriers. When I found Sandy, what he found me. We went down to Corriers to relive, you know, the good times, because there was a lot of good times, and a lot of kids had a brilliant time there. Hmm? Yeah, that was just talk about Nancy Paul. I met Sandy, and if it hadn't been for the support of Sandy, sorry, I'm away ahead of you. I'm not going to review most of this, it's just to keep me right. We went to Corriers, and at that day we decided to find and see about my records. We went in to get the records, and she came back and saying like, one, two, where's the rest? Bits of paper all blacked out. Black felt pen, there's crosses, the start of my life, going into corridors, correspondence between them and my father, the end of my life, them telling my father what a lousy father he was, and within a matter of months, they dumped me on this man. That was my notes. Sandy doesn't exist. We don't have any notes on him. So we decided to check how many other children who were abused in quarriers do not have their records. And God, it's amazing. We cannot keep up with it. It's outrageous that we can't get them. They keep saying they were lost, they were in fire, they mislaid them. Every excuse under the sun. But thanks to, we set up the Justice for Children. Sorry, I'm making a hash of this. This is my first time. We set up the Justice for Children. Yeah, please.
So, just to let you know a wee bit more about this. Jayne and I met when we went back to quarriers, as Jayne says about her records. I had previously contacted quarriers, and it was the police that contacted me. I was taken into an office and asked why I'd been at quarriers looking for children. But no recollection of this. I told them, I think you've got the wrong person. This is when the abuse started coming about, and it was thanks to David Whelan. It got the ball rolling. We have had a few jailed. They said, she's sick, terrible. They don't prove justice to us. One of the abusers was awarded £50,000 in legal aid to fight his case. We had to pay out our own pockets to get these so-and-sos to court in the first place. But yet the legal aid system paid these people that abused us. That's so wrong. We discovered that one of the abusers who got the legal aid, he was sentenced to 12 years, reduced to 8, down to 4, out into quarters homes, rehoused him, back in the orphanage where he abused kids. I will stand up and I'll say I was proud for what I'd done, because I get the bastards, and I'm sorry, photograph, and I put it on a piece of paper, and I wrote about him, what he'd done to the kids in that place. I pinned it to trees, I pinned it to anywhere I could, I put it in every single cottage doorstep, so that that man would be known for what he had done. And thank God the people at Quarrier stood by us and got him booted out. But he was only moved a few miles down the road to Kilmacole. One of the abusers stays round the corner from me. To this day, he still lives round, won't there? Children's Play Park. We discovered 58 children who were sexually abused in that orphanage. Has no records. 26 has got records with pages missing, marked out. Their children who were physically abused. So that's why Justice for Children has started. So over to you.
As Andy said, Justice for Children, and that's the best thing that's in my life at the moment. But we joined forces with a magnificent group of people, the Fresh Start Foundation, and working together we can achieve so much. It's when we go off as individuals, we don't get anything done.
Our next speaker is known to most people as Wildcat. And in fact, when I was phoning her to see where she was, and I noticed that I've actually got my phone list in my phone, I've actually got her filed under W. So it's a good name that fits her well. Now, Katrina, because that's actually her name, I do think of her as Wildcat, has been a real inspiration to a lot of us. She produces videos and blogs and information at a rate that would make you think she was several people. But in fact, she's just herself, and she's fighting with us, and she's fighting the info war, and she sees what's being done to people in this country, and she's not having it, and I wish there was more like her. So if I can ask Wildcat to come forward, thank you very much.
That's okay, I thought you were looking on. I'm not going to say very much because I'm already embarrassed. I've made a video and I'll let it explain. Just look, I mean that's the biggest thing, is looking at what's there, because the stuff we're given is absolute rubbish. And it's, when you know what you're looking for, the blatantly obvious, and it really is obvious, then you can see. It's, well, I'll leave it, I'll let you watch, and that's all really.
Sandy.
What is the word? No, you have to tell me what
Sandy, is it ready?
It's in this one.
Can you give us a minute?
I don't know why that up.
Right, hold on.
And the bush.
Right, Joe. Right, you don't have to fill it.